From the states of Africa, we've got you covered.
Perfect day, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, kings and queens, and to all my gender non-conforming people. Hey guys, welcome to your greatest young show on land. Yes, I said it. This is your greatest young show on land, right here on Keith Ngesi Radio with myself, Baby Sihu. And in case you didn't know, now you should know that Keith Ngesi Radio is not your average radio station. This is radio beyond frequency, but most importantly, we are radio according to you, and we are broadcasting live in Vincent, East London. But we're not limited by the confinements of East London, nor of Eastern Cape, nor of South Africa. We are international. You can listen to us anywhere in the world by simply going to knrapp.co.za. I repeat, that is knrapp.co.za, or download our app, man, on Google Play Store. It is the Keith Ngesi Radio app. That is if you're using an Android, and follow us on Facebook. We are Keith Ngesi Radio. That's where we're live, by the way. So Keith Ngesi Radio on Facebook and on YouTube. It's Keith Ngesi Radio. Like, subscribe, do the whole shebang, man. You know, YouTube channel, do that thing, share, comment, the whole thing. And like our sister pages as well, the Keith Ngesi Digital TV on Facebook and on YouTube. You tuned in on Young Purpose, as I said, and I know you guys can agree with me when I say that in this digital age, we have experienced truly dramatic changes in our socio-political expectations and practices. Individuals, hashtags, and movements seek to exert both voice and influence on issues of public concern. Social network sites, websites, and texts serve increasingly as conduits for political information and major public arenas where people express and exchange their political ideas or ways in which they can develop young people. You know, they raise funds, mobilize others to engage, vote, protest, and work on public issues. And young people in particular are amongst those who are at the forefront of developing our society, you know, and just driving change. Speaking of which, we have a young person in studio. You can see her. In fact, let's just do the whole shebang. People can see you now. People can see you. People can see you now. We have a young person who is a change driver. Yeah, a change driver. I'm going to stick to that, because here on Young Purpose, here on Young Purpose, we don't introduce our guests, because I feel like you know your story better than I do. So I will say a lot, and you'll look at me on Samayo Obuhle. I'm just here to be humble and modest. Or I'll say little, and you'll be like, "Hey, girl, give me my accolades. Do you know in grade 1 I received an award for numeracy? Please mention that." So I'm going to quickly give you a chance to introduce yourself for those who may not know you.
Wow, okay, so the attention's on me, right?
Yep. It's like that.
Let me just give a short disclaimer. So I really vibe with Obutle's content. So now I'm having like a fangirl moment.
My goodness.
So I'm having a fangirl moment, and then I'm just like, oh, okay, Shab, I have to speak. But let me introduce myself. So, Ding Esihle, born and bred in the Eastern Cape, and I hate saying this, but let me just say it. I'm an activist, and I think my passion is more youth empowerment, more specifically where acquiring jobs is concerned, because I've been unemployed most of my adult life. Yes, I've had jobs, but
I like that, adult.
see, what do you mean? But I've been unemployed most of my adult life, and I just feel like young people often attach their identity to their lack of employment, and part of the issues that we have are tied to unemployment. So I'm always just trying to speak or to say the things that other people who are unemployed might not be comfortable saying. Because remember, there are no spaces for you to have certain conversations about how it feels to be, say, 28, unemployed. At home, sending your CV, practically doing everything, going above and beyond, but life is not coming together.
Is it just me, or when you have to introduce yourself, you're just like, hey, well, what do I say?
I know.
You just freeze, and all of a sudden you don't know yourself.
And listen, it's like, who am I? Oh, I can go. Like, you literally go through it so much. You go through so much. I forgot to say, ne? Also the founder. I hate guys, imposter syndrome, because I'm just like, oh my gosh, girl, you're blowing your own horn. But I'm the founder of an NGO. I'm struggling to put a name to it.
Okay.
I've literally been changing the name. At first it was like my name and surname, and it was Esihle Matshaya Foundation. But I was like, girl, that is corny.
Yeah.
It's very corny. And then I was
It's
like,
giving me Bill Gates vibes also. Like, hey, yo, she has money. You know, when you name your foundation after you,
I'm the
one. You're
I'm
the one.
But I'm trying. So I'm literally trying to come up with a name that reflects my passion, how I feel about society, how I feel about challenging the status quo. But yeah, I'm just a black girl trying to get other black girls and black guys to make money, and trying to get the people that be to pay attention to us.
Hey, you see, if I had introduced you, I would have said, hey, recruiter, budding, just limited you. And you are a beautiful black girl, by the way. Let's just put it out there.
You're making me blush.
Please blush, please. You see, she's blushing, Andy, so I'm making her blush. I like that. You said you hate saying you're an activist. Why is that?
I think for me, everyone is an activist in their own right, because we always assume that you have to do phenomenal things for you to be qualified or to be considered as an activist. When in actual fact, most of us are fighting whatever it is that we're fighting. We might not be fighting it according to societal expectations, but we all have a battle that we wake up and we fight. The only difference is that some of us formalize activism and we open organizations and we get funding and we do A, B, and C. But honestly speaking, to exist as a black body means to be an activist, because the world is not for you, it's anti-you.
Whew. Listen, we haven't even started Jay having a and she's out here speaking, but I'm listening to you on some speed, girl, like talk, preach right now.
One thing about you, you're gonna make me laugh. Man, let me.
Now this is just purely conversational. I said that to you. I was like, I want us to have a conversation, just black girls having conversations about, fancy stuff with to car polileyo. Yeah, what's not jumpy. Yeah, buyers not like, but actually, on activism. What sparked the urge to be an activist? Formally, Kengoku, because you did say that everyone is an activist.
That is true. Okay, so as the unit, so let me take you through. Let me try to summarize.
It's fine. You can.
So I've worked in, you can nwaba.
Yeah, without the summer, it's fine. We want it all here.
Never have I met a host until you can nwaba. You just giving me freedom.
Nwaba it.
I love it. Okay, so I think what happened is. Okay, so initially when I went to varsity, I wanted to study law. Ne?
Also, not to disturb you, ne? I'm not looking at you because I'm looking at the camera. I'm facing the camera. Not that I'm not listening, ne?
Okay. There's even a camera.
Yeah, this is yours, by the way.
Okay, wow. I noticed it. What? Okay, that's fine. So I initially went to Rhodes to study law, but I ended up not studying law. I think I did law for 2 days, but that's another story. Anyway, but I've always been one who felt like, who found advocating or speaking on people's behalf something that comes naturally to me. So I'm that friend who, if you can't say something in the staff meeting, and only need to go and tell our boss, hey, uthi obuhle A, B, C, D, right? So I think in 2020, I was formally introduced to activism. So I was hired in an NGO in Cape Town. It was great, but with activism, again, you need to be an activist in something you're passionate about. Because I moved to Cape Town and the organization focused on the inaccessibility to transport for the working class. But I come from the Eastern Cape, guys. And we don't have a transport issue. So I struggled to actively advocate for that cause. As a result, I was retrenched because obviously I'm doing my work, but I'm not performing phenomenally because it's not something.
So it was
that
like a
is
2 days thing.
Low
vibes.
6 months, next 6 months. Yeah, but for 6 months, which is fine, you know?
Yeah.
And I think when I was retrenched, it just dawned on me that society teaches us to work hard so that we can acquire jobs, but we aren't taught how to make sense of life outside of what happens if the system rejects you, what happens if you go into corporate like I went into corporate and you realize that you are not meant to be in corporate, you know, it's not something you enjoy. What happens if you study a course and midway during the course you realize that I don't enjoy this? So I started to actively share jobs because I'd also noticed in my engagements with people don't know where to look for jobs or even how to look for jobs. And I think for me it heightened me, or it opened me up to the fact that I have an enormous amount of privilege, because one would think that if you go out of high school, you leave varsity, looking for a job should come naturally to you. You should know what to do. But remember, we're in the fourth industrial revolution. We're going through so much. So many things have changed. So
For IR.
Fourth IR, and it's a lot. You know, we're a developing country with exorbitant data costs. So
Exorbitant.
what's the exorbitant, guys?
Hi.
Guys, this lady.
Okay.
So I was like, from sharing jobs, it moved to me realizing I need to host workshops, you know, to empower people on how to write a CV. And from there, I realized I'm still not doing enough because another person is going to have an interview, but they don't know how to conduct themselves in the interview. And then I added that to what I do. And then I also realized, hey, girl, you assume that someone's going to have something to wear to the interview. And
or the funds to go to the interview.
So then I went as far as like just starting like a clothing bank, you know. So the clothing bank is my friends, my acquaintances, people that have donated to it. And you literally hit me up on some, hi, I have an interview at this and this time, and we borrow your clothes, you know, you go to your interview. But I think more than anything for me, as I said, having been unemployed most of my adult life, I just realized that unemployment strips you of your sense of self, because you don't have financial agency. And when you don't have financial agency, it's difficult to navigate life. It's difficult to date. It's difficult because you need money. It's difficult for you to even have a voice sometimes at home, because how dare sweetie, what do you have to your name? And more than anything, I think
dignity gone.
Like you literally, and then you still have to go out there and navigate finding a job and into the world, and you still need to integrate yourself into the same world that's constantly rejecting you. So it's a lot, but I'm literally like just trying to address what unemployment is, and to be honest, in my conversations surrounding unemployment, and to narrate my own experience, because I think often you'll listen to people and they'll speak to you about something, but they're not speaking to you about something that they know personally.
You know, out of the misconceptions that people have, there's this misconception that young people are not doing enough to, you know, to get themselves employment. You know, you're not doing enough to get a job. You should be trying harder. You should be knocking on these doors a bit more harder than you do right now. Do you think that's the case? Do you think that young people are not doing enough?
I don't think so. I think often we think that when you're looking for a job, or when you're in pursuit of employment, you need to be looking for a job actively every day. But the problem with looking for a job actively every day is that it's not realistic. The finances to do that, the willpower to do that, because the data, like even that whole thing of every day, you send a CV, and every day it's like we reject to inform you. You're human, you know. And I think also like we forget that things changed so quickly.
Yep.
So we changed from a scenario where you would physically submit your CV to a scenario where you send your CV online via email,
Yep.
to a scenario where you need to be registered under a recruitment company. And in the people that I work with, I've noticed, Yazi, there are people who can't even write emails. You think it comes naturally. Someone will be like, Esihle, an email, but I don't have an email address. How do I send an email? So I then need to coach the person that, hey, let's create a Google account. This is how you send
I didn't know
an
it was
email.
that bad.
Exactly. This is how you attach documents. Another person will come to you and they'll say, okay, Sissy, they said that I'm a scan, but how do I scan? Do I go to an internet cafe? I then need to educate that. No, you need to have fast scanner, and then from fast scanner. So basically, we don't have the tools necessary to find employment. It's more of a tool issue more than anything, because some of us are in rural areas. Some of us don't even know how to navigate these spaces. And some of us are tired. Like, can we talk about
The mental
health?
strain. I was about to
it's a
ask
lot.
about the mental strain of looking for a job, applying and being rejected every now and again. Like, not every now and again, like every time you apply. And the one time you do get a job, it's probably one that stresses you even. It's one that drains you. I was talking to a friend who just quit her job at retail. She said, I can't do this anymore. I can't. And, you know, my first thought was, but friend, you've been looking for a job for almost 3 years, and now you finally have a job, but you want to quit. And she was like, you don't understand. You don't understand.
I think, I'm the queen of quitting.
2 days.
Me! And people will think
2 days.
I don't take myself seriously, or I don't take opportunities seriously. But I'm very conscious to my limits. And I think it's important as a person to know your limits.
Yeah.
Because, guys, I remember, like, how there was a time in 2018
Yeah.
where I was working in the financial services sector. So it was more like sales, right? Which is the ghetto. Guys, it's sales. Where you have targets to meet and you need to constantly speak, and the economy looks the way that it looks, and you're trying to sell things to people. But I lost weight. I think I'd wear my jeans, and then I'd wear leggings underneath because my jeans were that big. Literally,
That
it
is
was a
hectic.
lot.
That is hectic.
I stopped, like, my hair, guys. I have a lot of hair, but at that point, I didn't have hair, and I kept on, like, going back to the current position because I was like, no, it's going to get better. But it got to a point where I wasn't sleeping, and I'd wake up physically tired, and then I started to get physically sick, and I was like, one thing for sure, I'm going to die, and I need to choose my life, and I left, you know. So I think more than anything, we always assume that when people leave jobs, they leave because they have other options, but we are dying. Like, look at how prevalent it is for a young person to pass away from a heart attack, from a stroke. And we bury so many young black people with potential, and you ask yourself, like, I was talking to her 2 days ago, and then no, she was walking in Hemingway's and she fell, and that was it. Like, we chase it. And the thing is, also, glance of acknowledging your privilege. I'm very mindful of the fact that I can leave a job because I don't have a child, and I'm not a breadwinner. And I don't, like, me leaving a job is me leaving a job and me being in my fields and going through it. But it's not...
The next person cannot afford that.
The next person can't afford that. So then you need to find coping mechanisms while in that job. And you're dying, but you're...
And you're even aware of this, you know?
You're conscious to that. And I think also, like, guys, there's so much classism in South Africa. Like, I'm noticing, like, there's this assumption that if you work in a call center, you're dumb or you're not educated. There's this assumption that if you work in retail, you're dumb, you're not educated. And for some odd reason, as a people, we give people respect based on titles in South Africa. So if I think that or would say I'm no grade 11, I am not going to respect you, and I'm going to make your working life impossible. So you'll find that even as the greater public do push people in their workplaces, because one can't think, but someone can be a cleaner, but ufundi. And even if the person didn't go to school, we aren't kind people. We preach kindness, but we don't embody kindness.
That time we are literally not even 5 pay slips away from poverty, probably 2. COVID taught us that you're literally 2 pay slips from not having a home, not being able to pay rent, from pretty much being poor.
Exactly. I think for me, COVID just showed me that whole middle class. It's guys. It's
Ayikho
lando.
Ayikho.
In South Africa,
Ayikho. But from a poor person's perspective, yes, the PP hectic. Don't laugh, Aniswa. Please don't laugh. But from a poor person's perspective, that is a privilege. You know, me saying I'm middle class, from to them, it's wealth, and you're like, but I'm poor. You can't even say you're poor because here you are. You know, you got here today. You probably didn't think 4 times or 5 times about transport. You know what you're gonna eat tonight. The next person doesn't, and it's wild.
It's wild and it's scary. I think more than anything, there's something that a friend of mine, Osia, said, where she said that as black bodies, the majority or most of our life is spent performing. So we're all in performance. The poor person is performing to be considered worthy to sit in the middle class seat. The middle class person is performing to be considered worthy to enjoy the privileges of the so-called upper class. But in all actuality, we are never enough, and we are never fully accepted by society, and your existence is a constant performance, basically. So you constantly perform. So say actor basically, ne? It's a script song. And I was like, yeah, no. We all
Now that you think about it,
we all have scripts. Like we literally all performing certain scripts. Maybe someone is fortunate enough that they feel they're the director, which is the likes of those in leadership with the power, with the money. But the rest of us, guys, extra. As unfortunate as that is.
in your pool, that is wild.
We literally like performing.
Is it just me, or like do you ever feel like you live in a world where everything is already decided, where you don't have a say, and even if you do have a say, it doesn't really matter because it's just like a drop in the ocean, you know? Already in Jezebel. Oh, someone has a comment here. Unolu Babalo Grace Makungo. So proud of you, Esihle Matshaya.
Guys, that's my friend, and she's making me so shy.
She's blushing.
You know
She's
what?
blushing.
You know, she's one of the people where I'll be like, Chomi, I want to do this. And the rest of the world will think, yo, she's losing it again. But she'll be like, hey, Chomi, you can do it, girl, you got it. So, guys, I'm blushing so much.
And a few people here sending shout outs as well. Ayanda Gwabe, Pilasanda Majibi, Bake no Chokovi, Nomboniso Jesi, Bongisa Precious Ngotoza, Nolubabalo again, Utina Sihlalo, Siyakholwa Vuso, Zizi Pizizi, Andiswa Keke. Yeah, hope I said your names right, guys. I didn't butcher any of your names. I don't know if you know any of those people.
I do, but also I'm so happy. Like, I needed this, guys. Couldn't go this week.
Ne.
Also, when does Metro give you your gig, sweetie?
It's too soon. It's too soon.
It's not too soon, Sana.
I mean, it's too early, man. It's too early.
Listen to her being humble.
It's too
early.
No, it is too early. But like, I get you, ne?
Get me. I feel like you're almost there. Why? Ibo, YFM.
Are you listening? There's a comment here that I quickly want to read out. Ubongiswa Precious Ngotoza. I'm a social work graduate and I've been looking for work for 3 years now, and it's so draining. From waking up every morning, going online in search of a job, sometimes you find yourself editing your CV, removing certain things because, wow, you fear they're going to say you are overqualified. Having to study for 4 years and then you stay at home with nothing. I care abantu that think you're just sitting there. I'll apply. Hi. Esihle, you're amazing, my love. Thank you.
Oh, thank you. And also, like, I get that whole thing. Like, sometimes it's not even your CV. I think a conversation like we need to have, yes, a guy.
Man, so you remove information on your CV, your accolades, because you are overqualified.
You have to. There's
Overqualified.
That's a thing. I remember, like, I know, for example, when you apply for a job in the state, like for an internship, often you have to say you've worked in the industry. You need to remove that qualification because they're not going to give you a chance, because they're looking for people without experience, forgetting that sometimes you didn't really have experience where you were making money, you were volunteering, so it's a thing. But I think also, like, above and beyond, besides removing and all of that, we need to be like kind to ourselves, because guys, there's an element of favor, which is something we don't say. Sometimes you are successful not based on your own work, not based on your accolades, not based on even how hard you work. Sometimes favor just follows you, and you're at a coffee shop and you speak to someone and they're like, yo, sweetie,
By the way,
how's
I'm the person
about-
you're looking for.
Exactly. You know, like, for example, I know with Utinewaraga, I follow her. So she was talking about how she went to, I'm not sure of the station, I think it's Metro, and she spoke to someone and she was like, no, I want a show. I think I'm good enough. And they're like, no, we'll start you at reception. But she didn't even work in reception for 3 years, and she got a show, you know? How many people are going to go to Metro, but hi, can I get a job in reception? And it's like...
And Obuhle was just at an event. She was walking by and they were like, hey, listen, we need someone to share their experience on the event you're at. And we started talking. They were like, oh, okay, you guys, I like your flow.
That's it.
Come through.
And then we're going to be so hard on people. But I don't be, are you sending... Oh, also, guys, like, disclaimer, if you know anyone that's not working, that question of... Are you sending your CV? Yo!
Aispani lawe.
Bores me.
Aispani lawe.
Boring.
Bored kesan.
Bored kesan. Exactly. Because I'd be like, come to me with an opportunity. Come to me with a possibility for funding. Come to me and say, this and this is happening at my workplace. But don't invalidate my efforts. Uyayifaka iCV. Sweetie. No, obviously. Like,
and apply.
No. And also, like, the one myth that we need to dispel, there is nothing as boring. And I'm not trying to be like controversial, but don't tell me to be an entrepreneur, guys. Start a business.
If you can't find a job, start a business, sell things, and they don't tell you how that in itself is a lot. I mean, we have a lot of businesses that fail within 2 months, in fact 2 days. It's a lot, nje.
Exactly. And I think also we forget that we don't all have a business acumen. Like, I know for a fact, for example, that I could never have a formal business. That's why I am more into activism and stuff like that. But me, as Esihle, I wake up and I have a formal corporate entity. Sweetie, you would lose your jobs in 2 months, you know? So that whole thing of telling people when they're unemployed that they need to start businesses, please, man, don't bore us, guys. Not all of us have the acumen, not all of us have the passion, not all of us can even afford, because let's be honest, when you start a business, you don't immediately see profits. Some of us need to feed our families immediately. It's an immediate need. It's not a future thing of, okay, 5 years down the line when my business is listed on the JSE, you need to make money now. And outside of that, you need a certain amount of money to be able to live. Like, you need a constant amount of money. So if you're going to tell me, hi, see, why don't you start a business? Sweetie, leave me alone. Like, guys, not all of us single Patrice Motsepe. And what we don't say when we talk about a Patrice Motsepe is that their wealth is generational. It's not practical.
Never thought about that. Not like that anyways. That is. I have a few comments here on my WhatsApp. Iko Gaushe is saying, wow, you are talking to me right now. As an unemployed graduate sitting at home, I had lost hope. I had lost hope because nobody understood me. So all that you're saying makes me feel seen, heard, and understood. Thank you so much. Bohlale. Nothing much, just to say I love you so much. Bohlale Buzani.
Why are you laughing, guys?
No, because he said I must tell you that he put 2 hearts there, 2 red hearts. And I don't know what the obsession is with, like,
the
emojis.
Colors.
Yes, the colors.
Also, I've been noting that, like, yellow,
it's
for professional. Then red, I don't know.
Oh, okay. What are you trying to say, Mr. Buzani?
Stop it.
I mean, is there like, should we be ready?
Guys, she's a lot. What?
Should we? Rishad Boaja. I haven't spoken to this guy in a very long time. He says, what is your biggest fear as an activist? That was supposed to be my question, Rishad.
I think my biggest fear is getting caught up in the popular trajectory at that moment, because you'll often find that people want to finance their lives, which is fine, because we're black people, we need money. But you'll find that that you used to relate to during Fees Must Fall or during whatever gets to parliament and suddenly they're quiet and they are not true to the cause that they were fighting for, and they become one with the man. So I just don't want to be caught up in whatever popular conversation is happening. I just want to remain authentic to the cause that is close to my heart. So I think for now, right now, the dominant conversation within the activism space is conservation. And if they are funding, it's just depending on conservation. But it doesn't speak to me. It doesn't resonate with me. I mean, I know global warming is a thing. I care about it, but I'm not identity Amanda, I wouldn't. I genuinely
That sounds so wrong, but I get you.
I wouldn't.
And it's like every other black person. Black people are big on some, hey guys, I believe in, working to save the climate, but at the same time, I'm just not for me, child. Hectic. Tandeka Msi Winky. Hi, Tandeka. She says, keep up the great work, Esihle Matshaya. Don't personalize the hearts, please. Oh, she says that because she put a black heart there. We get you. It's okay. It's okay.
I need to be educated on this heart etiquette.
Yeah,
Your heart.
I don't know. There are levels. Classes are meanings when I hearts yabo lena ibomvu.
And then I need to.
It's lacking
myself.
substance, and then the black one, poverty. There by the love. It's a lot. You never know with people. I have another question here, guys. Also, if you are listening on the app, if you can, please send the questions through via Facebook. So we have another one here. Bushle Jack says, okay, I'm trying to. Sorry for that. Why do you think these problems exist?
Oh, there's so much, but I'll try to be short. I think one, our education system is not one that teaches us with the aim of us ever becoming independent. It's one that teaches us to be workers, but also even in teaching us to be workers, they don't give us the tools we need for when we leave even matric, you know. So like even the CVs they make us write in high school are not practical, and they are not CVs that are being currently utilized, you know. Some of us don't even know how to use computers. We don't have CAT in school, you know. Some of us don't even know how to construct emails. So I think we aren't given the necessary tools. But also we are developing country, and some things we aren't all going to enjoy. So we're not all going to have tablets at school, which is an unfortunate reality that needs to be addressed, you know. We are not all going to have an LO teacher that is well-versed in current issues, but outside of school, corporate or rather the private sector is also one filled with so much bias and meant to only accept a certain type of black child in. Because you'll notice that something as simple as getting a bursary, you need to have or 70 or 80. And I'm not disputing that you'd want to invest in someone that is doing well at school. But look at our schools. There are 40 learners in some classes. Some children are going home to an abusive dad or an abusive mom. Some children are not eating, and then you still expect that child to compete with a child sitting at Hudson Park who is going home to a functional family and a support structure that is enabling them to be the best. So it's a societal issue. It's a result of inequality. It's a result of our education system. It's also a result of classism and racism. Because let's be honest, guys, in our workplace, your skin color does matter. So I have a friend, right? I was speaking to her, and I was saying to her, this was about 3 years back. I was still a junior at that time, and I was saying to her that, yo, friend, you know, for me, when I get a job, 8K is a lot. I'm like, thanks, sweetie. Yo, you did the things for me. The friend is white, and she looks at me and she says, yo, AC, 8K? Me, I don't wake up for less than 15, my darling. That puts things into perspective. It makes you realize that your white counterpart is not accepting the crumbs that you are accepting and thinking that you've arrived.
I don't wake up. Wait, so 8K, guys.
8K was a joke.
Even me, I'm just like 8.
Me, I thought, see, if I have 8K, at least the rent here, 3K. Yeah, I can send my mom something, groceries. Hey, maybe I'll have 500, 600 left for fun.
But it's okay.
But that's the thing. And you'll find that your white counterparts don't have to excel and perform la performance based. They don't have to perform exceptionally well to be considered as worthy. But when as standard some, you must work. Obuhle must know how to produce. She must know how to mix. She must know how to script, and she better know also that she needs to toe a certain line.
And she does.
All
those things,
because
actually.
You must perform, Galoko. There's a script written for you.
How do we get from voice now as a society? Because some of the things are affecting us at structural levels, you know, where there are institutions in place that still keep us from having the necessary tools to, you know, get to a point where we can sustain ourselves as young people. I'm talking unemployed young people. But how do we get from a place of just being voices and movements and hashtags online and to actual change? Because some, unlike you, are not necessarily doing the actual work because they don't know how to. So the least that I can do is be on my Facebook, have these conversations, engage people. But how can we move from that to actual
practical stage,
tangible change?
I think there is it's a lot, but we need to put policymakers under fire because there are certain policies that exist that make your existence or your navigation of unemployment so difficult. Simple things like in government, for example, they just abandoned this whole thing where you needed to have UZ83. Then after UZ83, you needed to have multiple copies to apply for work. And this was not only like draining financially, but why do you expect that I will know how to fill in that form? What makes you think? So we need to find ways to engage policymakers, but that comes from forming civil society organizations that represent us. And I think we need to come together, you know. Somewhere, somehow, social media is great. It's a phenomenal tool, but we need to actively, on the ground, do things and be actively involved. So if an organization is going to say, today, you budget speech, and we want to block the road going into A, B, and C, you will probably think that they're being dramatic, because we've been taught as black kids that when it comes to figures of authority, you don't question them and you accept what they say to you. But literally things like that, we need to write to Parliament, and we need to be conscious when we vote, you know, who are we voting for, what,
and just not when we're voting, you know, not just around the time when we have to vote, you know, the constant documents coming out from the government, we don't read those, you know, no one cares until someone comes on TV and says, oh, by the way, that document said, and we're just like, oh, okay, wow.
Happened. Even like attending in your neighborhood those annoying meetings as a councillors, just to have your voice out there. But also I think the gist of it is that we shouldn't put the burden or the onus on us as young people to change society alone, because we are also led by those older than us. And
but they don't care, man.
Exactly. Can they just pay attention to us? We shouldn't have to scream at the top of our voices. Can they stop wanting to fill their pockets with money? Can we stop making jokes? Like, I was so annoyed with a certain campaign where they were like, Uzbanban, Umuyile, they've been voted back into the Eastern Cape. And I just sat there like, Uzobuya, and then what? So let's also stop, as young people, lando yoba selfish, because you'll find that certain people will celebrate or they will garner support for a certain institution, a certain individual, because they benefit. We've all went to university and we've all encountered umdu olikeda to their core. Actually, they are pro-black, they are pro the struggles of a black child. But how do you then go and you support an organization that is not doing anything for the black child? So it's a lot, but honestly speaking,
we need to start being active, guys. On the ground. You know, clear campaign Gazbanban. Crazy thing is, I passed by, you know, the area where they were voting for him and all of that, and I saw a lot of adults, like there were old people there, and I'm just like, where are the young people of this organization? Why aren't they there to vote? Like, why aren't they there to challenge this person? I was just like, so where are we? You know, what are we doing politically?
I think also, for example, I get why people will shy away from speaking, because as soon as you speak, you put a target on your back. And sometimes also, because you'll know on social media, for example, there's certain people that we know when there's a politics, but at the same time there's going to be those people who are going to say, politics, you are bored, sweetie, you are so we also need to create a society that is accepting of people with revolutionary ideologies and that doesn't stifle their growth. So, for example, I'll make like a stupid example. My niece was saying, she's here with me in studio, so she's saying to me the other day, Mayu, there's this teacher, I want to write a petition against her because when's the A, B, C? Yes,
girl, yes.
Because if I said to her that you being you problematic, don't do that.
Don't question, don't challenge.
You don't challenge authority, you accept whatever is said to you. Even with children, when we raise kids, if a child raises something, please don't
dismiss them and invalidate them. Yes. We're running out of time. Started a bit late. I would have loved to talk more because, man, you are out here dropping gems. Just on a random Saturday morning, you are out here dropping gems. Like, how lovely is it to be you? You wake up every day, you have this beautiful mind, this brilliant mind, you know, you're smart every single day. Esihle Matshaya who's smart. Like, how does it feel to be you?
What?
How does it feel?
Thought about that.
How does it feel?
I am the most most nerdy person, most geek person. Guys, like, I was laughing this other day.
Also, you're very funny.
I'm like,
You're funny.
oh, okay. How does it feel? It feels great. But also, guys, I think more than anything, like, just be authentic, man. Just be you. Doesn't matter if the world accepts. Be yourself.
Be yourself.
But even outside of be yourself, understand that the world might not accept you, and you need to be fine with that. Decide you're too much.
Diagonally packed in a parallel world.
Parallel.
Square peg. In, you know? Yeah, facts. Facts. So be free enough to be yourself. Last words. Oh, wait. We missed that. I have a mental health segment, but I didn't see that time because the conversation was flowing, right? How important is it to take good care of one's mental health, and how do you take care of your mental health?
It's pivotal because, guys, you can't make sense of
Did
the
you
world.
hear that?
Guys, listen.
She didn't say important. It's fine. It is fine. It's fine.
I'm laughing so much today. Yeah. But it's important, like, it's pivotal, guys, because if you're not okay mentally, you can't pursue your dreams, you can't show up for yourself, and also you can't interact with people. And even as a job seeker, you can't seek a position because you're not okay mentally. And then how do I take care of my own mental health? I try to exercise, but I fail dismally. I have a psychologist that I see. Therapy, guys.
Therapy.
Therapy,
Hey,
like,
man, therapy is expensive also. That's...
It is expensive and it's exclusionary. Like, I'm one of the fortunate few in that my friend spoke to her therapist, and because they are close, he was like, no, I'll give you psychological assistance for free. But again, privilege. How many people have friends with access to such people? Because I can literally send Dr. Harry a text about, hi, not okay, when are you free? And he'll squeeze me in. You know, I think I'll come back for
in fact we are we're doing a series actually. You know, we are
how it's dragged me.
Yeah, no, we need more time. Junior lihle ethada ndiyaku saluta ku stishi esingashishiziyo ndihleli nani apha eGauteng. Bang salute. Bang. Shout out to you, King. Much appreciated. I always say when you listen to Young Purpose or Keithing SC Radio, it's not that you're bored, man. You wouldn't waste your data because kakate singabanye CB Wi-Fi. So, like, you know, and also, did you notice we're actually matching? Like,
I know.
The black,
The universe,
and the neutral color, and the beige, and the, you know, man, talk about black girls. Black girl magic. Thank you so much for coming through. Really appreciate this.
Guys,
no. It's polile la.
Nah.
Yeah, vibes here. It's polile la.
Like when I got off the boat this morning, I was like, yo, it's going on, it's for real. Like,
we're polile here. Also, I love you. Not because we are, you know, here and we have to say these things. Nah, it's not because of you guys, but yeah. W worthy, man. I dig you. With that said, we're out of here. Bye.